The breath is like a ninja breath. If I was right beside you, I shouldn't be hearing you breathing. That kind of softness we're looking for. What we're looking for is getting the vertebrae to move one at a time. In our mobility session, our goal is to take an active role rather than a passive role like in stretching. When we learn to move our joints, things begin moving a lot better than if we just passively stretch things out. Hello, if you've been here before, welcome back. If you are new to my space, welcome. My name is Hedy Shah. I'm a body worker and a mindfulness teacher. I support humans to break free from the construct of today's society to create an unconditioned life so they can turn setbacks into strength, experience greater vitality and trust in their bodies through postural alignment, functional strength training, and the magics of mindfulness. Without further ado, let's get started today's video. In today's session, I will be taking you through a total body mobility session, and all you need will be a cushion. Obviously, if you don't have a cushion, that's okay as well. You can definitely do all of the majority of these exercises standing. So without further ado, let's start. We always start with breathing to get a rib lubricated, and a rib plays an important role in how mobile and how free we feel, especially in our spine. So we start by having our hands gently over top of our rib, and we softly inhale into the side of our ribs. Nice relax, exhale out. Instead of feeling that your belly expanding through your inhale, we want to have our diaphragm expanding. Let your breath become so soft that there's no movement in the neck or shoulders. You're keeping everything as soft as possible. The breath is like a ninja breath. If I was right beside you, I shouldn't be hearing you breathing. That kind of softness we're looking for. Nice relax exhale. On the exhale, you're sighing it out from the back of your throat. And can you let that sigh out get a little bit longer? So you start feeling that rib coming down and then creating a nice closure here. We're here for 5 to 10 reps of breath. We keep going. Let's do one more here, and I want this exhale to be the longest exhale you've taken so far. Let's go. Beautiful. So we're going to do 2 more breaths, or let's do 3 more breaths. Arms reaching to the side of your knees. Still the same thing. We want to still keep our chest open, but feeling a little bit of an expansion happening in the back of our ribs. Maybe you start feeling on the exhale that your ribs are going down and in a little bit more. One last one here. Beautiful, really good job. So now we're coming into a kneeling position. That's where we're going to use our cushion to support our knee. So you can definitely do some of these kneeling that I'm staying tall in standing position as well. It's completely up to you. The reason I like it in this position is because we're able to create a little bit more contraction and control in this position. So we're keeping our butt tucked under us, staying tall. I don't want you to be like that, or I don't want you to be like that either. So stay really, really tall here. So we're starting with rotating and bringing motion into our neck. We're moving towards our shoulder, slowly opening up, imagining you've got a marker on your chin and you're drawing a circle with that marker. So ideally, I want your eyes to be staring at one dot. That will make this movement a lot more effective. Down, opening up, creating that nice movement. Imagine you're moving through thick air. Keep going. We're here for 5 reps. I don't expect you to do a lot of those, but when you're doing them, I want you to really stay focused and keep it controlled. If there are tension, restriction going on in your neck, I encourage you not to push through. Make that circle a little bit smaller. So you're not pushing through any pain or any discomfort. So if you've got history of neck issues, then maybe you make the circle just this big. And that's completely okay. We're not looking for a massive range here. What we're looking for is getting the vertebrae to move one at a time. So we're done with the neck. Now we're going into our upper spine or thoracic spine. From the base of our neck all the way down to right here. So have your hands crossed like that. So imagine again you're staying nice and tall. Take a soft breath into that back rib, and we're slowly coming down one vertebra at a time. So we're coming down really, really slow. As you can see, I'm not pushing the hip back, or I'm not letting the lower back get involved. So imagine your pelvis and your lower back is your anchor, is holding you, and obviously your core will be working as well. So we're going down one vertebra at a time. Full exhale out in the bottom, and we're slowly coming up without anything changing in my lower half of the body. So keep going. Inhale here. One vertebra at a time. You might feel like this is that you don't have a lot of room. That's okay. So with every rep, we want to find a little bit more space in our body, in our spine, getting a little bit more flexion going here. So one vertebra at a time. In our mobility session, our goal is to take an active role rather than a passive role like in stretching. When we learn to move our joints, things begin moving a lot better than if we just passively stretch things out. So let's go. Again, we're here for 5 rounds. Take your time. If you need to do more, that's okay too. But we want to put as much intention as we can to every single rep that we're doing. So one last one. Full exhale in the bottom. And we're slowly coming up and allowing our core to hold us nicely there. So now you can move your cushion out the way. Now we want to get our lower back to work. So we worked our thoracic spine. Now we want to get that lower lumbar spine working. So have your elbows down. So you want to feel nicely and secure in the bottom. So start thinking that you're pulling your elbows. Not only you're pushing your elbows down, you're also pulling it towards yourself. So you're creating some upper body tension, almost as if you're locking your upper body, because the intention of this movement is not moving the upper body. It's mainly about moving the lower body. So we're creating a nice roundness throughout our spine. And we're focusing purely on our lower back. So we're slowly creating that nice arch, one vertebra at a time. See, I'm not doing this, right? So I'm only focusing on moving that lower spine here. Take your time. You're creating a lot of tension on the ground to hold you, and at the same time creating control over your lower spine, imagining that you're moving through thick air and you want to bring control and awareness back to that part of your spine. Again, we're here for 5 rounds. We're going to take our time. I want you to go as slow as you can and really feeling that you're moving through thick air or even thick mud. So creating that intrinsic control here. So we're here for 2 more. Taking your time. Once again, if you've got lower back issues, if any direction of this exercise feels painful, I want you to stay in the pain-free range, meaning you get to have the range a little bit. Instead of being here, you're going to make it a lot smaller, something that feels comfortable for you. So we keep going, one last one. Perfect. You can rest in a child pose position for a second. Perfect. So now we're coming up to our shoulders. Remember, we want to go through almost every single joint as we can. So imagine that you're making a nice fist. It's a strong fist. We're slowly going to the middle of our body. Like imagine this is your midline. So we're creating that nice flexion to our midline, slowly going high up as far as we can. We don't want to flare the rib up to make that happen. We want to keep it small, go as high up as we can. Slowly internally rotate, coming down, and we're going as far back as we can. Keep that elbow as straight as you can. Come to the side, slow going back, opening up to the side with control. Remember, you're moving through thick air, coming all the way down. Nice control. Continue keeping that body of yours fully nice and activated throughout your whole body. You're staying tall, moving through thick air, thick mud. Keep that control going. Coming to the side. This might be a little bit of a brain game for some of you. Just go with it. Trust your body, trust your judgment. And then you slowly get exactly what the intention of this movement is. But I cannot emphasize enough, keep the range small. You want to be in the pain-free range as much as possible. We want to be challenged. We want to push the edges of our joint range of motion, but we don't want to be in pain. Just throw out the idea of no pain, no gain for this particular part of our session, or ideally for anything. There's always a better, a more trusting way of doing things. Slowly going out and coming back down. One last one. Opening up as controlled as you can. Nice work. You can always do both arms together as well if you're short in time, but I would recommend doing it one at a time because that allows for more of a sense of control. You can really control the joint that you're working on. Make sure your elbow is not bending. That's really important. Taking your time. You want to, obviously I'm looking at you, but when you're doing it, you want to look straight. So your head is not moving, you're not getting into your neck, you're keeping that neck as relaxed as possible. This is not a neck exercise. And also you don't want to have the rib flare up, right? So we want to keep the rib nicely stacked over our pelvis. We're here for 5 reps each side. Pretty much for the majority of these exercises, we're doing 5 reps at a time. Keep that control going. Thinking you're moving your arm into your shoulder socket. One last one. Beautiful work. Nice job. So now you can shake it off if you need that. If you need to grab a sip of water, grab a sip of water.
To unconditioning, we need you fully human, living in tune with your true nature. That's why I created something special for you. A lifestyle guide. A lifestyle guide designed not as another list of shoulds, rather a deep yet simple roadmap to take care of all of you. In this guide, you'll find essentials to becoming more human, especially if you feel overwhelmed by all the conflicting information out there. I've simplified it for you, giving you practical steps to focus on the basics that truly matter. This guide covers basics of sleep, nutrition, movement, nervous system regulation, and there will be a surprise topic that may or may not require you to do some decluttering. You can find the link to get your lifestyle basics down below in the description box.
It's up to you what your neck mobility look like. We're lying down on our side. You can have that elevated by your cushion or just have your hand underneath your head for extra support. So we're lying down on our side. So make sure your head is nicely rested. What I like is have my top hand in front of me, push the ground away from me. That allows for a more stacked body position. In this position, I feel more stable. So now we start our hip carves. Slowly coming in, opening up to the side with as much control as you can muster, and then we're slowly going back. I want you to imagine that you're inserting your heel into your bum and your knees moving away from you to an extent that your hip and your knee is almost in the same line. We're slowly coming down, keeping that knee pointing in as we lift it up towards the ceiling, and then drawing a circle in. So nice control. You should feel like a lot of burn, a lot of heat building up here just after doing the first rep. So slowly coming in, opening up. Once again, we're here for 5 reps with as much control as you can. Take your time. Make sure you're not arching your lower back. You're keeping everything as stacked as possible. Imagining you're moving your upper leg or your femur in your hip socket. So creating more space in your joint. Opening up. I think this is our 3rd one. Feeling that heat building up nicely everywhere around your hip. Lift up with as much control as you can. Draw a circle back in. Beautiful. One last one. Coming in. Opening up. Slow going back. Take your time. Back down. Lift up with as much control as you can. Draw a circle. Coming in. Beautiful. So now we're going to the other side. So on this side, I'll show you from this direction so you exactly know what's going on. I am in a nice 90, like my angle from my torso to my hip is nice and 90 degree. On the knee is also nice and 90 degree to start. So we're coming in, opening up to the side, slowly going back, finding that nice length, slowly coming down. See, I'm not arching my lower back. I'm keeping a relatively stacked body position. Lift up towards the ceiling, pointing that knee slightly down. So we're drawing a circle back in. That was our number 1 rep. So we're going for 4 more. Coming in, opening up to the side, nice and controlled, slowly going back. Taking your time, make sure you're not hiking your hip, keeping the hip as nice and as level as possible. Drawing a circle, nice control. Beautiful. So coming in, your 3rd one. We want to find as much control as we can. How you can always make this 10 times harder by going slower and finding more control over the motion. So this is a great practice to warm up for your exercise session, or if you feel extremely stiff, you can bring those motion into your routine. And you could even do them as a strength training session. When your joints are getting stronger, you can always add some small weights around your ankle, around your hip, to make this exercise a little bit harder. I believe I lost count, but I believe we're on the last one. Coming in, opening up, slowly going back, taking that time, nice, beautiful, coming down. Keep that hip, that knee inward, so we're making sure that we're getting that side tissue working instead of opening our leg too soon. Let's do 1 more as a bonus just in case. Coming in, opening up, nice control, going back. Like any of the other exercises we've done, if you've got tension or hip issues, go small, make the range a little bit smaller. And then slowly see if you can find a way to make it a little bit bigger. Nice work. And then you can let things nicely rest here. So for this exercise, we will be focusing on our feet. So I want you to get into a nice kneeling position. If this exercise or just being in this position is difficult for you, you can definitely do it standing as well. So I want you to, if it's possible, have the knees slightly move forward. And then from here, we're going to lift our toes, all our toes as high up as possible. So for some, this might be really hard. Again, this would be a good time for you to go to standing. So now we want to imagine that we're playing piano. We're dropping our toes one at a time, starting from our pinkies, moving up one at a time until we reach to our toes. We're going to be doing that for 5 reps. I don't want you to look at your feet, especially if you're standing. Can you have your eyes look forward and really allow your brain to find that connection to your feet, to your toes, lifting up all our toes again, playing the piano, starting from the pinky, going all the way down. So you want to start moving every single toe separately. So we're on our 3rd rep. So taking that time, nice, lift off. On our 4th one, drop one at a time. You might feel a lot of heat building up in your brain as well as your toes and your feet. One last one. Good, take your time, well done. So now we're going to the other side. So find that nice tallness, maybe have the knee, if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, maybe have the knee a little bit more forward. So we're lifting up, we're going one at a time. Taking your time, lift off. For some people, just lifting off is really difficult. So taking that time. We're here for 2 more. One last one, lift off. Good, perfect. So now you can come on up to a seated position, however that feels good for you. Just feeling the heat that you built up in your whole body. On your shoulders, in your hips, in your neck, in your spine, in your feet, even in your brain. Take a soft breath in. Nice, relax, exhale out. Bring gentle little motion to your body, and you're all done. Great work, friends.
Thank you for spending your valuable time and presence with me. If you enjoyed today's experience, please subscribe, comment, and like. This is going to be helping the channel, and it's going to be helping my spirit to be able to know that you're enjoying the content so I can create more of these resources for you.